Good morning, children. I hope you all are fine. How is your lockdown period going on? Yesterday, we have studied about menstrual cycle, different phases of menstrual cycle, and hormonal changes during this cycle. Today, let us pass on to fertilization. In the beginning of the chapter, you have studied what are all the steps involved in human reproduction. Can you recollect it? What is the first step? Gametogenesis. Second one is of insemination. Third is fertilization, implantation, gestation, and parturition. So far you have studied about gametogenesis. Now, for fertilization to occur, the male gamete has to reach the female gamete. So, during coitus or intercourse, the semen released into the vagina. The semen is released into the vagina. This process is called insemination. You know very well that semen consists of seminal plasma and millions of sperms. So now what is happening? The motile sperm will swim rapidly and it reach the ampulla region. When you have studied about oviduct or fallopian tube, there you have studied the part of the fallopian tube that is very close to the which region? Very close to the ovary consists of finger-like projections called the infundibulum. Fimbriae, then comes infundibulum. Just above the infundibulum, which region is present? Ampulla region is present. So, after insemination, the sperm reaches the ampulla region of the oviduct. Now, the ovum released by the ovary is also reach the ampulla region of the oviduct. So, the process of fertilization, that is the fusion of ovum and sperm, takes place at which part? The ampulla region, because you have studied oviduct consists of a region that is very closer to the ovary is called the infundibulum. At the terminal part, it has finger-like projections called the fimbriae. The fimbriae will guide the ovum into the infundibulum. Then it reaches the ampulla and sperm also reach the ampulla region. The process of fertilization occur in the ampulla region. Now, for example, here you can see that for fertilization to occur, what is the necessary condition? For fertilization to occur, both the ovum and the sperm should reach simultaneously. Both ovum and sperm should reach simultaneously the junction of ampulla isthmus region or the ampullary region. Then only what is possible? Fertilization is possible. Both sperm and ovum should reach the ampulla region simultaneously. Now, for example, here you can see a ovum. But how many sperm you can see? 1, 2, 3. But here what will happen when one sperm, for example, this sperm has reached which region? Zona pellucida region. When one sperm penetrate the zona pellucida region, a change occurs on the membrane. A change takes place on the membrane that prevents other sperm to reach or to penetrate the zona pellucida region. So, the change in the membrane prevents the phenomenon of polyspermy. Poly means many. So, this prevents the fertilization of ovum by many sperms. Clear? For fertilization to occur, both ovum and sperm should reach the ampulla region simultaneously, even though many sperms will reach. But number of ovum is only 1. So when one sperm penetrates the zona pellucida layer, a chemical change occurs in the membrane. This prevents other sperms to penetrate it. That means it prevents polyspermy. Here again you know very well that the head of the sperm is called which region? Acrosome part. So this acrosome part secrete which enzyme? Very good. It is called as sperm lysine. That sperm lysine will penetrate the zona pellucida layer of the ovum. So here you can see this is the ovum. Here you can see the sperm. This sperm has penetrated the ovum. Other two are not able to do it. Ovum is of haploid. Sperm is also haploid. After fertilization, the product is called the zygote, and this zygote is diploid. 2n number is 46. Now, after fertilization, what is the product of fertilization? The product of fertilization is called the zygote. Now, the zygote will undergo continuous mitotic division. This continuous mitotic division is called the cleavage division. So, initially it will form two cells after mitosis. After second mitosis, it is forming 4 cells. Third mitotic, it is forming 8 cells. After that, it will form 16 cell. At the 16th cell, the embryo resembles mulberry fruit. So, this stage is called a morula stage. Then it is forming 32 cells. At the 32 cell stage, it is called a blastocyst. So, after the fusion of ovum and sperm, zygote is formed. It is diploid. It undergoes continuous mitotic division. The division is called the cleavage division. First, it forms 2 cells, then 4 cells, 8 cells, and then 16 cells. At the 16 cell stage, the embryo resembles the mulberry fruit. So, this stage is called a morula stage. Then it is forming 32 celled stage. That stage is called a blastocyst. Now, here you can see the structure of a blastocyst. So, how many cells are present? 32 cells are present. So, at this 32 celled stage, the cells are arranged in the form of 2 layers. Outer layer is called the trophoblast, and other cells are arranged in a form of a mass, that is called the inner cell mass. And in between these two, you can see a cavity that is called the blastocele. So, at 32 cell stage, the embryo is called a blastocyst. Individual cells are called the blastomeres. The cells are arranged in a form of 2 layers. Outer one is called trophoblast and the other group is called the inner cell mass. In between the two, a gap is seen. That gap is called a blastocele. Now let us see. First zygote is formed. It has formed how many cells? One is of 2 cell, then 4 cell, 8 cell, morula stage, then blastocyst stage. Can you see here? This is the fimbriae and this part is the infundibulum. So which region? Ampulla region fertilization occurred. It forms the zygote. Here 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, then comes 8 cell and morula stage. Now here you can see the presence of the blastocyst. Where the blastocyst is present? Here the blastocyst is present. And the inner wall of the uterus is called the endometrium. Now what is happening? this blastocyst will attach with the endometrial layer. So now we will be studying about how implantation occur. So the outer layer of the blastocyst is called which one? Trophoblast. Now the trophoblast layer is attached with the endometrium. Outer layer of the blastocyst is called the trophoblast. That is attached with the endometrium. And the inner cell mass will differentiate and that forms the embryo. So after the attachment of the blastocyst with the endometrium, the uterine cells will undergo rapid division and then it cover the blastocyst. Now totally the blastocyst is embedded in the endometrium of the uterus. This process is called implantation. You have studied that blastocyst consists of outer trophoblast and inner cell mass. Now the trophoblast is attached with the endometrium. Inner cell mass get differentiate to form the embryo. Once the trophoblast attached to the endometrium, the endometrial cells will undergo a very fast mode of division. Then it will totally cover the blastocyst. As a result, the blastocyst is embedded or totally attached with the endometrium of the uterus. This process is called the implantation. So after implantation, placenta will form. What is placenta? It is the functional and structural connective tissue between the maternal blood and the fetus. So after implantation, finger-like projections will appear on the trophoblast. That is called the chorionic villi. Once implantation occurred, finger-like projections will appear on which part? On the trophoblast. That finger-like projections are called the chorionic villi. Now, the chorionic villi is in close association with which layer of uterus? Endometrium. Now, the chorionic villi will be interdigitated with the uterine tissue. It will be interdigitated with the uterine tissue and that forms the placenta. Clear? The chorionic villi will be attached with the uterine tissue, endometrium of the uterus, and that forms the placenta. Can you see here this red color region is the placenta. So the placenta is attached with the embryo with the help of a disc that is called the umbilical cord. So what are the functions of this placenta? Placenta supplies oxygen and nutrient to the embryo. It transfers the oxygen as well as the nutrients to the embryo. It transfers from maternal blood to the embryo. Similarly, it removes carbon dioxide and the waste material produced by the embryo. And placenta is connected to the fetus with the help of a disc-like structure called the umbilical cord. And now placenta is considered to be an endocrine tissue. You know what is an endocrine and exocrine glands. Normally endocrine glands secrete hormones. So placenta is called a endocrine tissue. Why it is called an endocrine tissue? It secretes estrogen, progestogen, then human placental lactogen, human chorionic gonadotropin. So it secretes how many hormones? 4 hormones. What are the 4 hormones? One is estrogen, progestogen, human placental lactogen, and human chorionic gonadotropin. So, placenta is called the endocrine tissue. But at the last stage of pregnancy, at the end stage of pregnancy, the ovary secrete one more hormone that is called the relaxin. So, what are the functions of placenta? One is it supply oxygen and nutrient from maternal blood to embryo, and from the embryo it removes carbon dioxide and other nitrogenous waste products. Placenta is connected to the embryo with the help of a disc called umbilical cord. It is considered to be an endocrine tissue because it secretes estrogen, progestogen, human placental lactogen, and human chorionic gonadotropin. In the final stage of pregnancy, ovaries secrete a hormone that is called a relaxin. So now what are all the hormonal level? In a pregnant woman, the level of a hormone increases many-fold. So one is hormones like human chorionic gonadotropin. Another one is of human placental lactogen are produced. Then estrogen, progestogen, cortisol and prolactin. Estrogen, progestogen, cortisol and prolactin, thyroxine also. All these are produced and their level increases manyfold. Why it is increasing? This increased production of hormone is very essential for supporting the fetal growth. Second one is for withstanding the metabolical changes that occur in the mother's body. Third one is for the maintenance of pregnancy. So in case of a pregnant woman, hormones like estrogen, progestogen, thyroxine, prolactin and cortisol increases manyfold. Why it is increasing? Number one is support the fetal growth. Second one is to withstand the metabolical changes. Third one is to maintain the pregnancy. For this purpose, the level of the hormone is increasing manyfold. Now, after implantation, the inner cell mass will differentiate into 3 layers. So, you know very well that human beings are triploblastic organism. Last year you have studied if the embryo is developed from, if an organism is formed from 3 germ layers, then it is called a triploblastic organism. So here after implantation, the cells of the inner cell mass differentiate into outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm layer. So we human beings are triploblastic organism. Now all the tissues are formed from these 3 layers only. The inner cell mass containing a special type of cell that is called the stem cells. Only stem cells has the ability or it has the potential to form all the tissues and organs. So after the process of implantation is over, the inner cell mass will form 3 layers. So that is outer layer is ectoderm, middle is mesoderm, inner one is called endoderm. Now all other tissues are formed from these 3 layers only. The inner cell mass containing a special type of tissue or cell that is called the stem cell has the ability or potential to form all the tissues as well as the organs. So today you have studied how the process of fertilization occurs, where it occurs, then implantation, after implantation how the gastrulation process occurs, what is placenta and what are the functions of placenta. So children, stay safe and stay home. Don't venture out. Go through it thoroughly. If you have any doubt, you can clarify it through your WhatsApp group. I hope whatever work assigned so far you might have completed. Thank you